So Trump is demanding that Iran unconditionally surrender and says the U.S. won't kill Supreme Leader yet, or for now. Donald Trump has posted on social media that the United States knows the location of Iran's Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei or whatever, and he added that the U.S. would not kill him yet, but calls for Iran's unconditional surrender, and said, "We know exactly where the so-called Supreme Leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but it is safe there. We're not going to take him out or kill, at least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter," Trump posted on his social media platform, Truth Social. And he followed up with a second post a few minutes later, writing, "Unconditional surrender." Now, in a post published about 30 minutes earlier, Trump said, "We now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran," which it looks like they do. And the reality is, Iran is 10 ways to Sunday unless we convince Israel to stop, which, when it comes to Iran, aside from the fact that they're dictator America for the last couple of decades, and they have constantly wished the annihilation of Israel and us here in the United States, aside from this, they have been trying to establish nuclear technology for a very long time. But the ultimate goal, of course, being nuclear weapons, no matter how much they want to deny that that is happening. That is the ultimate goal because that gives them power in the region, which would make them a permanent player there that no one could touch. It's not just an offensive weapon. It is a defensive weapon. It makes people afraid to attack them. This is why North Korea, for example, still exists, despite them being a piss-at-nobody nation that nobody wants to go to and they're barely surviving, but they have nuclear weapons, which means South Korea can't just free the people in North Korea, who are pretty much destroyed now anyway. I've seen people try to argue that, they don't have nuclear weapons yet. They're not really that close, but who cares? They're working towards the ability to create nuclear weapons-grade uranium. You can't allow it. Full stop. Iran will eventually get nuclear weapons if nothing is done. And we had a bunch of sanctions on them for years, keeping them poor, keep making it difficult for them to complete the project. And then Barack Obama gave them piles and piles of cash. $1.7 billion, including a giant cash payment delivery of $400 million on a plane. So that money would inevitably go back and participate in the war against Israel. Where do you think some of the sponsor of terror money came from? It literally came from us here in the United States, thanks to idiot predecessor presidents. So, the bottom line is there have been no real attempts to stop Iran from gaining nuclear power, and they're close. Whether or not they were going to be ready in a couple of months, couple of years, or tomorrow is irrelevant. The bottom line is you can't let this whacked out, fundamentalist, radical Islamic state ever have any kind of nuclear technology whatsoever. Because these people are crazy. They want people like you and me dead or in chains. They want to subjugate all of Middle East. They want to create their caliphate. It's all about bringing on the end times. This is what the radicals of Islam are hell-bent on. It's what makes them so dangerous. Unlike Christianity, which went through its Reformation 3 centuries ago and became a peaceful religion, Islam is not. And giving these smooth-brained, whacked-out weirdos nuclear weapons would be the worst thing you could possibly ever do. Full stop. Now, unconditional surrender would be a beautiful thing. Is that likely? I don't know. Not at this current moment. Because for somebody like Ayatollah Khamenei or whatever, that would probably mean death for him. If he were to surrender without troops actually invading, I think even now you might see an uprising against the Iranian leadership. There was one back in 2022 which could have overthrown the Iranian weirdos, but unfortunately our government at the time didn't want to get involved, which is understandable. Don't want to get started in another war. But if there was ever a time to lend aid, that was probably it. Let's pull this up here. I hate using Wikipedia because they're a piece of garbage site, but for this point, we're going to pull them up here. So 2022 and into 2023, there was a attempt to overthrow the government because people had enough. They beat some woman practically to death for not wearing a hijab properly. Yeah, in fact, here it is right here. And so, that would have been the best time, probably, to do something like this. But it is what it is. So we'll see what happens. If Israel keeps up the pressure, if they not just destroy the nuclear installations, but also take out military bases, commanders, maybe the people of Iran can take the opportunity to take their country back. I mean, it's been a prison, an Islamic prison, since the 1970s. And it may be that they have purged all normality out of the country by now, because it's been a long, long time since before I've been alive that they've been under this radical Islamic state. But one can hope.